You were searching for signs of the shooting, right?
Correct.
All right. You didn't find any broken glass?
No.
No damaged cars?
No.
No bullet holes?
No.
You established no shell casings?
Correct.
No blood?
Correct.
In fact, you didn't find any signs of the shooting, right?
Correct.
All right, so Sergeant Tommy Zizzo not done yet. He started his testimony on Friday as the first witness called by the state of California, and now he's going to continue today and be cross-examined some more by ASAP Rocky's defense team. And just the fact that he was called and just his relationship with Real Housewives of Beverly Hills star Erika Jayne has people in Hollywood talking. So what's everybody saying? Let's bring in someone in the know. I see he's the leading authority on all things Housewives. He's the host of the podcast No Filter. Zack Peter is with us. Zack, good morning to you. What's the good word in Hollywood?
I mean, I have to say, the internet especially is on fire. Nobody had this on their bingo card. It kind of feels like that's the theme of 2025, but everyone was like, Erika Jayne's son, ASAP Rocky. Like, we're trying to connect the dots because we didn't see these two worlds colliding.
Right, Zack. And so then once everybody figured out, oh my gosh, that's who he is, it's like everybody couldn't stop watching him, right? Because we don't typically see him on the show, do we?
No, what we've seen on Housewives with Erika Jayne is that she's kept him more private. You know, we've seen a couple of scenes where she'll talk about him and being an officer, and you know, we see her kind of let her guard down as a mom that worries with her son, you know, out on the front lines risking his life to keep us safe. But for the most part, she doesn't even really post about him on social media. So the fact that we're really kind of seeing him speak for the first time, because we've never really watched him on the show, and you know, a lot of Bravo accounts are like, wow, we've never heard from Tommy, and now I think, you know, he's become a hunky new heartthrob on Instagram.
Right. He's handsome. He's a ranking officer. He's a sergeant. You know, Zack, you know Erika Jayne. You've interviewed her before. I would think that this has to be such a proud mama moment for her. Her son, who's a real life hero, getting called first out of the gate. You know, with trials, you want to call your best witnesses first and last so that the jury has that great impression, the primacy and the recency. And the fact that they started with him, I think, really says a lot.
It does. You know, like you said, they lead and they end with their strongest witnesses. So obviously, Tommy's going to be crucial in this case. And I think, you know, she's always been very proud of him. We've seen her speak very highly of Tommy on the show. And I would imagine now that the public is kind of getting a peek at him with his uniform on, and we're seeing him on the, you know, on the front lines in this case. And so far from what I've seen online with Bravo fans, they've been really positive. And even some people are like, okay, I'm glad we get to see him, but like, let's remember that, like, you know, she does want to keep his privacy, you know, a top priority for them, because obviously as a mom, you want to protect your kids as much as possible. But I think the reception that people have had to him and seeing his involvement in the case has been really positive. So, you know, I would imagine she's very proud of her son.
Right. Oh, I'm sure, Zack. And I like what you said there about how she's protective of him, no matter how old your children are or how tough they are and strong they are. You know, you're always a mom, right? And I would think he's probably protective of her too. Do you know how he treats her?
Oh, absolutely. He's, you know, very protective of her. I know he checks on her and likes to make sure that she's, I mean, listen, when you're a cop and you kind of see some of the, you know, what goes on in the shadows of Los Angeles, I would imagine now that he's much older, you know, he wants to protect mom a lot more. And I know that she's, you know, they have a very special bond, which is sweet.
Right. No, it is. And how old are they, Zack? Because they look like they could be siblings.
They do look like they could be siblings. I know he's now, I want to say, in his mid to late 30s.
Oh, wow.
So
okay.
he's, you know, he's a big boy now. He's grown. Sure. He's not the little boy that she was raising growing up.
Sure. No, definitely. You know, beautiful people, beautiful mother and son. And tell me, do you think this could possibly wind up in the show, Zack? Before we let you go, I want to ask you, do you think that Bravo could make a storyline out of this with Erika Jayne and maybe the proud mama moment of seeing her son in this big trial that people around the world are watching?
You would think so, because I know in the past we had, like, when, you know, Lisa Rinna's daughter was dating Scott Disick, like that became a talking point. point. So the housewives tend to bring these things up, but unfortunately they're not in production. We have the new season of Real Housewives of Beverly Hills that's airing right now, so they probably won't go into production for the next season until late summer. So I would imagine this either gets completely glossed over or we might not even see it on the show at all.
Oh, I gotcha. Well, Zack, next time you talk to Erika Jayne, tell her all of us from Court TV thank her son for his service, and we'll see him more this morning. Zack Peter, thank you. And my friends at home, check out Zack's podcast, No Filter with Zack Peter. Zack, we'll see you soon.
Thank you.
When we come back, we're going to be spotlighting the brand new trial we've got starting today on Court TV in Boston, and you're going to recognize the courtroom and the judge. This is the manslaughter trial for defendant Penny McGee. And Judge Cannoni from Karen Reed's trial is presiding over this one as well. And we've also got jury selection.